All right, so welcome to Section 3 of Unit 3, Banking Services. Essential question will be, how will understanding the banking services offered by banks simplify my financial life? So the three types of services we're going to be discussing is online banking, keeping a checking account, and smart cards. First, we'll talk about the electronic banking services that are available, such as online, ATM, and through your phone, either using the phone itself, actually, or mobile services. Some examples of electronic services that can be found online would be automatic billing, online bill payment, check for your account balances, and you can read through the various things. There's so many different things that you can do by using the service of online banking. You can see your statements, you can know exactly how much is in your account at that particular time. You can also set up direct deposit, which is having your paycheck directly deposited into your checking account when it is payday, so you don't have to go by your employer to pick up your account. Then you will no longer receive a printed check, you'll receive a paycheck stub, and that amount will already be in your account. It also will protect you from writing bounce checks or going into insufficient funds by having an overdraft protection, which is a check written for more than your account contains, would then automatically go into your savings account to pull the money that was needed to cover that check, so you did not bounce a check. Some services that you can use through your ATM would be getting your deposits or cash on demand. It's an account that lets you withdraw portions of your deposited funds at any time. You may need an ATM card that can only be used at ATMs, or you can use a debit card which can be used at ATMs but also be used to buy products at stores or buy online through its MasterCard Visa logo. You can also check your account balances and then transfer funds between accounts that you have with that particular financial institution. Some services that you can get through your phone would be checking your account balances wherever you are by either calling to find out what your account balance is by using their automated system, or you can literally use your internet on your phone to get your account information. You can view recent transactions, you can pay bills online, transfer funds, and then view your statements and also deposit checks, which is a pretty new feature with some financial institutions, typically more your commercial banks, where you snap a picture of a check and it now then deposits that check for you. Pretty cool. Some online banking statistics. Back in 2006, only 63 million Americans reported that they used online banking. 43% of internet users in the United States bank online. That number has definitely increased since then. Online banking, also known as internet banking, allows consumers to complete transactions with wireless technology. You can do that either through your personal computer, a personal digital assistant, or cellular phones. When you online bank, consumers can access their account information and statements. So you can see here, you can view your account. If you have multiple accounts, you can see what those multiple accounts are. You can transfer funds, you can pay bills, and you can see the different balances within the accounts that you have at that financial institution. You can transfer funds, say like you have a checking account and a savings account, or maybe you have a checking account and a line of credit. You can transfer funds between those accounts. Consumers can manage their bills and apply for credit, so you can set up all of your bill paying options. So maybe you have a electric bill, a gas bill, a water bill, your mortgage, and your car payment. You can set those all up within your online banking and have them pay that recurring for you, that same amount. The advantages of online banking are a decreased cost of paper and postage. Back when I had to do this all by hand, which was back in the 1990s, it would take me about 2 to 3 hours to write checks out for each of my bills, write out the statements, put my address labels on there, label the envelopes, put stamps on them, and then finally mail them out every single month. Versus now, I use online banking, and it takes me less than 5 minutes per month to do my bills. I can store all my statements online instead of keeping a paper copy. They're much more convenient. I can do this from anywhere. I can do this in my office. I can do this from my kitchen table. I can do this from work during my lunch hour if I wanted to. I can pay bills online. I have ability to access an account anywhere, anytime, and there's no waiting for your monthly statement. The disadvantages are is there's no personal connection. If you're having a problem, you have to solve it through contacting some type of hotline or tutorial to solve your problem. Not able to access without technology, so if your internet's down, then guess what? You can't find out how much is in your account. There's decrease in safety features, obviously with identity theft, internet hacking, that's increased the insecurity of online banking and increased the risk of fraud. Online bill payment allows consumers to send money from one account to a vendor. Usually occurs automatically. Consumers need to check with the vendors regarding their policy of when the payment will be processed, because when you pay a bill online, that does not mean the vendor receives it at that time. It still takes 2 to 4 days for that payment to be sent via electronic. So you need to make sure that you're still paying in advance to meet those due dates. So how do I make sure I'm safe online? You want to use that HTTPS guideline. It's the Uniform Resource Locator in your URL. And then you also want to look for the little lock that sits up in your URL. It's a closed lock to the right of your URL. That will assure that you're on a safe website. So let's open up a checking account. There's different types of checking accounts that you can open. You can do a joint account that's opened by 2 people or more. So you can have you and your spouse have a joint account. You can have maybe an account with you and a parent or you and a child. Special accounts are offered for people who have small activity in their accounts each month. A standard account or a share account, if it's used at a credit union, are types of account where they set monthly service fees, typically waive that fee if you keep a minimum balance. And then there's interest-bearing accounts, which earn interest and must keep a certain amount in that account at all times to earn that interest. If you want to open up a checking account, what do you need? You need to make sure that you take care of the signature authorization form. So you fill it out and sign it. The bank can then compare your signature written on checks. They're going to ask for identification as well as an initial deposit to have that minimum deposit amount met. So if you're a student, they might have a student rate. If you're an adult, they may have a different rate for adults. When you're writing a check, these are the important areas that you need to make sure you're aware of on a check. You want to make sure that your name and your address, city, state, zip code, phone number are on there. You do not want your social security number, nor do you want to have your driver's license number on there. When you write your date on the check, you can write it either all numerically or you can write it out in words. Up here in this right-hand corner lets you know what check number you're on, and you can actually tell your bank when you start a checking account what number you want that to start with. So obviously the higher that number, the more previous activity you've probably had in handling checks, so you might be perceived as more responsible by smaller institutions. In this box right here is where you'll write the numerical amount of the transaction, and down here on this line you're going to write in words the amount of your transaction. This is who you're paying the bill to. Down here is where you'll need to write your signature as stated up here in your upper left-hand corner. A memo line is great for you to just write special little notes to yourself to identify some important information. Down here is all very important information that will also help you with direct depositing as well. These first set of numbers right here are your routing number, and that tells the institution what financial institution they need to withdraw that money from. And then specifically right here is your account number, so they know what financial institution as well as which account to withdraw that money from. And then right here is just reiterating what check number you are on. There's 3 different types of endorsements for the back of checks. When you've received a check, how you need to cash them. So a blank endorsement is going to be where the receiver of the check signs his or her name on the back, and anyone can cash that check or deposit it because it's just requesting a signature. The next type of endorsing of checks is a restrictive endorsement, where you specifically say that you want it deposited only into a specific account, and then you sign it as well. And then special endorsement would include a third party. So the receiver signs and writes the pay to the order on the back to a third party to receive that check. So it allows the check to be transferred to an additional person. After you've written your check, Then you want to make sure that it has canceled and cleared your account. So canceled checks are a check that bears the bank stamp indicating that it is cleared. If you use online banking, you would be able to see when a check clears your account. Click on it and it would show that it has gone through the automatic clearinghouse. A checkbook register is a booklet used to record all your account transactions. You'll record every check you write, you'll record every time you use your debit card, record any cash you put into your account or take out, and record any service charges from your bank. So this will let you know on hand specifically how much is in your account at any time. Want to put money into an account? You're going to want a deposit slip. This contains the account holder's account number and allows money, cash, or check to be deposited into the correct account. So here you're just making a total of how many checks, and you're writing each individual check by itself. If I have any cash transactions, I would also list any cash transactions. I would give a subtotal. If I wanted to withdraw any money from that those checks, I could say how much I want to withhold before they make that deposit. So I add up all my checks and my cash. I subtract out how much cash I'm going to take out from those deposits, and then I have a net deposit that I'm going to deposit in my checking account. Also over here, I'm going to say the date of that transaction, and I'm signing to clarify that yes, I withdrew some cash from that initial deposit. See how this one's greater than this number right here. There are quite a few different fees that are associated with banks that may charge you different amounts for different transactions. So you can see that there's different transactions from commercial banks to credit unions on ATM fees, check cashing, ordering new checks, overdraft fees, processing fees, and bounce checks. So quite expensive and quite a difference between the different fee rates based on if you're using a for-profit commercial bank or a credit union. So avoid the following when you're using a checking account. You want to avoid overdrafts, and once again, that's a check written for more than the account contains. What can you do to avoid overdraft fees? Get overdraft protection, and this will transfer money from one account, your savings, to another account, checking, before it drops below zero. But they will charge you typically for that protection every time you need to go into that savings account to save that overdraft. A floating check is writing a check knowing that there are insufficient funds in your account. You want to hope that that deposit clears before the check is cashed by another person. That is illegal to do, and you want to make sure that you only write checks for the amount of money that's actually in your account at that time. So once a month, you're going to want to reconcile your checking account, and that means matching your checkbook register to your bank statement. You want to compare what you've been keeping track of with the statement provided by your bank. The reasons why we do this is, did you write every transaction down to make sure what's in your account is actual? Has a check not yet cleared? And do you have any suspicious charges added to your account? So what are smart cards? These are called electronic wallets, and they're like ATM cards. However, they also include a microchip embedded microprocessor. This microcomputer stores prepaid amounts for buying goods and services. A smart card can also store data about a person's account balances, transaction records, insurance information, and medical history. Uses for smart cards can expand in the future, and with the most recent credit card fraud that's been going on at large retailers, financial institutions are making a larger investment into the use of smart cards versus regular strip cards because they're more secure and more difficult to hack into. Okay, so now we just wrapped up our Unit 3, Section 3 notes. Hopefully this will help you have a better understanding of banking services and how they can smooth your financial life.